With what's happening in Sri Lanka, which is currently facing its worst financial crisis as of now. The island nation is now struggling to cope with the worst economic crisis in memory as we speak, which has now pushed the country to consider closing down a few of its overseas embassies. Due to a shortage of dollars, Colombo's Ministry of External Affairs has now decided to shut down embassies in Baghdad and Oslo. The Consul General's offices in Sydney is also expected to shut down from the 31st of March. However, the mission's work will resume considering the economic situation after 1 year. According to the Foreign Minister, the work of these embassies and consulates will continue through another embassy. The Sri Lankan affairs with Iraq will be conducted through the Consul General's office in Dubai, while the embassy in Norway will conduct its affairs through the embassy in Stockholm, that is Sweden, and the Sri Lanka High Commission in Canberra will now handle the affairs of the Sydney Consul General's office. The move comes at the island nation while it is now fighting for survival amid a crippling economic crisis. Colombo is seeking more loans to repay its external debt. India last week, after all, said that it has now agreed to give a $1 billion credit line to buy more food and medicines. Now, this is on top of a $500 million facility granted earlier. Sri Lankan authorities announced last week that the country will now seek an IMF bailout. Colombo has approached China for a $1 billion loan and another $1.5 billion credit line to import goods from China. Beijing is considering the request for the $2.5 billion loan package from crisis-hit Sri Lanka as well. All this due to a shortage of dollars to finance essential imports. There are also widespread shortages of essential goods. The cash-strapped country is now facing unprecedented food and fuel shortages. The island nation has been under rolling power cuts. For weeks, people have been queuing up at pumps, often for hours on end. In fact, a man was stabbed to death while queuing up at a fuel station. Another man collapsed from exhaustion and later died after spending hours waiting for petrol. Before this, 2 men collapsed and died while waiting in queues to secure fuel. These shortages have wrought havoc on almost every aspect of daily life. Authorities even postponed the exams for nearly 3 million students because of a lack of paper and ink. For more details about what's happening in Sri Lanka amid this financial crisis, our correspondent Dasni Athora has sent us this report from Colombo. Take a look.
Sri Lanka's financial crisis has now taken a horrific turn where 3 deaths of senior citizens all over the age of 70 were reported the past few days. And that's not all. The anger and aggression of people is also starting to come out, where a 29-year-old was stabbed and killed, also while standing at a fuel queue. That's not all. We are now understanding that the Sri Lankan government has received $1 billion from India and is also in the process of obtaining further $2.5 billion from China. But the question that really lies is, how will Sri Lanka be paying this debt? Reporting for WION World is One from Colombo, I'm Dasani Athauda.